Welcome to my channel, briefing on Bravo Dive into the daring and thrilling world of Bravo. Your ultimate entertainment, enjoy always first of all. Things are not looking good for Dorit Kemsley and Kyle Richards' relationship based on the above first look at Season 14, Episode 7 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, set to air Tuesday, January 14. In the clip, the latest dramatic confrontation between Dorit and Kyle that started on Episode 6 continues, and they have plenty more to say to each other. After Erica Jane tells Dorit that she has to stop yelling, the volume is loud for a fancy, not just the girls' event. The fashionista takes to a confessional to share her thoughts on the situation. Aka Kyle's decision to keep in contact with Dorit's estranged husband, Paul P.K. Kemsley, via text. The fact that Kyle's vein is popping out of her forehead is telling me that she's guilty. Dorit says she knows she did something wrong, and now she's just trying to get aggressive and scream so that I will back down and shut the conversation down. That's not happening, vein or no vein. Back at the table, Kyle tries to diffuse the situation by backing down, or at least promising to back down in the future. When Dorit pauses for a moment, Kyle takes a chance to lay it all out there. I am not going to text him. I am not going to send any memes to him. What more do you want? I'm done. I'm done. Kyle Richards is angry about Dorit Kemsley's reaction to her texting PK. In her own confessional, Kyle takes a second to discuss the situation from her post-conversation point of view. It's making me so angry because we were in a better place, she explains of her friendship with Dorit. And now she says this tonight just to make me look bad, when I know she doesn't even genuinely feel like this. Stop. I'm not beating a dead horse. I don't like to do that, she tells Dorit back at the table. Soon after, though, Dorit gets up to leave, saying she can't have the conversation any longer. I don't have the ficking stomach for it, she adds. Honestly, this is my real life. Did Dorit Kemsley confront PK about texting Kyle? Yes, Dorit confirmed on the January 7 episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, after show that she spoke to PK about his ongoing friendship with Kyle. In the process, she apparently learned something new, though. He got the information via Mauricio Umansky, saying that Kyle told Mao she's not allowed to speak to PK anymore, Dorit shared. In addition to Dorit taking issue with that comment from Kyle, she shared more about why she was so upset about the text exchanges between Kyle and PK. If the shoe was on the other foot, OMG, would you be ok with it? I can tell you hell no, she said. So why on earth do you think it's ok for you to do it? I don't even understand why I have to spell it out, Dorit added. I know she knows better. Title: Veins, Texts, and Broken Trust. Dorit Kemsley's high heels clicked on the marble floor, echoing in the silence that hung between the gathered women at the dinner table. A string of perfectly poised women, wearing designer dresses and holding crystal glasses, sat around the long, glimmering table at a private Beverly Hills club. Yet, despite the luxurious setting, the air between Dorit and Kyle Richards was thick with tension. It had started innocently enough, a simple dinner. But this, as with all things in the world of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, was no ordinary dinner. Tonight, the confrontation between Dorit and Kyle had reached a fever pitch, one that seemed impossible to undo. Dorit, her blonde hair cascading in soft waves over her shoulders, had been boiling over for weeks. The unresolved issue between her husband, Paul P.K. Kemsley, and her longtime friend Kyle Richards had reached a breaking point. It was one thing for Kyle to maintain a cordial relationship with PK, but the texts, the memes, the late-night exchanges had crossed a line. For Dorit, it wasn't just a matter of decorum or friendship. It was a matter of respect, loyalty, and, ultimately, betrayal. It had all started innocently enough with the usual group dynamics. The women had gathered, as they did so often, for a special event. But from the moment Dorit had overheard a conversation about PK's texts to Kyle, everything had changed. "I cannot believe this is happening," Dorit muttered under her breath, the hum of the conversation around her fading as her thoughts spiraled. She had walked in to find Kyle laughing with Erica Jane, both of them wrapped up in a private joke. The text messages between PK and Kyle had been casually mentioned in passing, and suddenly, everything felt like a calculated game of manipulation. "You know, it's funny, Dorit, how you always take things out of context," Kyle had said when she noticed Dorit's frown deepening. But Dorit wasn't about to back down. She didn't need to be the one who was told what she should feel. She knew what was right and wrong, and this felt wrong. The confrontation started slowly, like a simmering pot of water, heated and agitated, but not yet at a boil. Dorit had made a comment, something about trust and boundaries, and Kyle's defenses immediately went up. "What is your problem, Dorit?" Kyle shot back, eyes flashing with impatience. "You've been carrying on about this for weeks, and I've tried to let it go, but it's clear you're just angry, and this is the only way you know how to deal with it." Dorit took a breath, crossing her arms and narrowing her eyes. "I'm angry, Kyle. You are texting my husband, and sending him memes, and you want to sit here and lecture me about how I'm angry." Kyle's face reddened, her eyes flickering with something that looked a lot like guilt, but she quickly masked it with anger. She clenched her fists beneath the table, trying to regain control of the situation. "I'm not texting him, Dorit. I'm not doing anything," she responded, her voice rising. "I don't understand what the hell you want from me." But Dorit wasn't backing down. The accusation had been planted, and the seed was growing with every word they exchanged. "It's not about what I want from you, Kyle," Dorit replied, her voice colder now. "It's about respect. It's about loyalty. If Mauricio told you to stop talking to PK, would you have done it? Huh?" The question hung in the air like an accusation, and for a moment, Kyle didn't respond. Instead, she pursed her lips, trying to figure out how to twist the situation in her favor. "What are you talking about?" Kyle asked, her voice quieter now, but sharp with disbelief. "Why are you making this into something it's not? You know me, you know I would never intentionally hurt you." But the damage had been done. Dorit's suspicions had been confirmed. Kyle had crossed a line, even if she wasn't fully aware of it. Or maybe she was. Maybe Kyle did know, and she was just trying to cover her tracks. The conversation had already spiraled, both women circling around their points like combatants in a verbal sparring match. Neither of them was willing to let go, and the emotional stakes were rising with each passing second. "I know what's happening here, Kyle," Dorit said, her eyes narrowing. "You're guilty. I can see it. That vein in your forehead. You're guilty. You know you did something wrong, and now you're just trying to scream over me to make me back down. It's not going to work." Kyle's face flushed, her brow furrowing, and for a moment, it seemed like she might cry, but then she held herself back. This wasn't the time or the place. Not now. "Don't you dare," Kyle hissed. "You know how much I value our friendship. I don't need you to make me feel guilty for something I didn't do." But Dorit wasn't finished. She had already decided that Kyle's defense was empty, and nothing would convince her otherwise. "You're playing a game, Kyle. I see it now, and I can't believe I didn't see it sooner," Dorit said, standing up abruptly. Her chair scraped loudly against the marble as the room fell into stunned silence. "You think I don't know what's going on. You're trying to make me look bad, trying to make me question myself, and I won't let you do it." For a brief moment, it felt as though the world had stopped spinning. All eyes were on the two women, and yet there was no resolution in sight. The words hung between them like a ghost, cold and unyielding. Kyle, her lips pressed tight together, finally exhaled. "I'm done. I don't want to fight anymore. I don't have the energy for this. But don't accuse me of things I didn't do." "I'm not accusing you of anything, Kyle," Dorit replied sharply, her voice cutting through the air. "I'm just telling you that what you did was wrong. You should know better." The tension was suffocating. Erica Jane, who had been trying to mediate the entire conversation, spoke up, her voice surprisingly calm. All right, ladies, she said, her gaze flicking between the two. This is getting a little loud for a fancy event. Maybe we can just take a step back, huh? But Dorit, her face pale with fury, shook her head. She couldn't let this go. Not now, not after everything. I can't sit here and pretend that this is normal. Dorit said, her voice cracking slightly. This is my real life, Erica. I have to live with this. I can't just smile and act like nothing's wrong. With that, she turned on her heel and walked away, her steps purposeful and resolute. The room fell silent once more, each woman left to process the weight of the confrontation. Later, in the privacy of her confessional, Dorit sat with her arms crossed, staring directly into the camera. She knows what she did, she muttered, a hint of anger still in her voice. And if Kyle thinks that I'm just going to forgive her and let it go, she's got another thing coming. It's not just about the texts. It's about the principle of it all. I don't trust her anymore. Kyle, meanwhile, sat in a different confessional, clearly angry, her hands wringing together in frustration. It's making me so angry, Kyle admitted, her voice thick with emotion. We were in a better place. We were working through things, and now it's like I'm back to square one with her. She's just using this to make me look bad, and I can't understand why. I thought we were friends, real friends. The evening ended in silence, with the other women uncertain about where the friendship stood. As Dorit and Kyle both retreated into their own worlds, the air between them thick with unresolved hurt and unspoken words, one thing was certain. The cracks in their friendship were no longer hidden beneath the surface. They were wide open, raw, and exposed for all to see. In the world of the Real Housewives, forgiveness is always on the table, but for Dorit and Kyle, this fight might just be the one that changes everything. And in a world built on secrets and drama, that's the most dangerous thing of all. For all things of Bravo, step into a world of drama, laughter, and insider scoops as we dive deep into Bravo's hottest shows. From Real Housewives to Below Deck, join us for exclusive insights, epic recaps, and everything you need to stay Bravo obsessed. If you are looking for more dive into the daring and thrilling world of Bravo news, come back to Briefing on Bravo for all your updates. Must be, you have to be obsessed with Briefing on Bravo. Thanks for watching my videos. Like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, and watch more of my videos. Thanks for being with us and best regards. Stay tuned and support my channel.